And in the fast lane we go, where the adrenaline-fueled action sports event was hosted yesterday at Montecasino here in Johannesburg, where top motocross and freestyle motocross athletes battled head-to-head for a share of the prize purse and, of course, to see who will be crowned King of the Whip 2023. Joining us now in studio is Ryan van Spuy, event promoter, as well as the 2023 King of the Whip, all the way from Belgium. That's Julien Vanstippen. Good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Thank you so much for being here. I know your schedule has been really hectic. Ryan and Julien?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with yourself, Ryan. The people are watching now. They're asking motocross, freestyle motocross, and the whip competition. What is the event all about?
So we started this event back in 2017 and started a small quarry in the middle of suburbs in Joburg, and now it's grown all the way to what it was this weekend. It's a packed, sold-out crowd of 6,000 people in Montecasino.
Sure.
So we take freestyle motocross riders and motocross racers and put them together to see who can do the biggest whip, which is one of the tricks in freestyle motocross.
Now, Julien, you are a 3-time X Games medalist, and you're also the defending champion of the whip competition back in South Africa. How was it this time around?
This time was crazy again. A lot of people, very good vibes. Such a cool event. It was very close with me and Edgar, but looks like I threw a bigger whip than him, and I get first, so very happy about that.
All right, Julien, you've been doing this for a long time. You started at the age of 8. You didn't choose tennis. You didn't choose swimming. You didn't choose football. You decided to go on a motorbike at the age of 8. What led you to that route?
I have no idea. I've just always been passionate with dirt bikes. I used to play football, but my dad asked me, what do you want to do? And I want to ride moto. So I started from there. Just kid dreaming, and then I'm here.
And has it always been freestyle motocross?
No, I used to race first. I did a lot of race around the world too. Then I rode BMX, and then I switched to freestyle when I was 20.
Ryan, I'm talking about the different sets that we had in terms of the athletes at the competition and the event. It was both motocross and freestyle motocross athletes. How did they both approach the competition yesterday?
I think that's what makes the event unique, that this is a whip comp where we're taking two different sides of the sport and bring them together. For motocross guys, they don't normally do this type of competition or ride this type of ramp, so they start preparing a couple of weeks before. And we got the top riders around the country, the top motocross racers, the top freestyle guys. And we had 3 internationals coming out this year, obviously Julien to defend, Edgar Torrentores and Mark Pinel, both from Spain. The guys are professionals, so we get everything set up for them and we make it as safe as possible, and then they're there to show their skills and entertain the crowd. But it was an insane event, an insane competition.
But how difficult is it to put an event like this together? Because as we're seeing on the screen as well, they are on their bikes. There's a ramp that needs to be put up. There's technicalities of how high the ramp needs to go. And then they do the final touch, the cherry on top being the whip.
Yeah. I mean, that's my job, is to make sure that whole event space is put together in the right way. So, I mean, it took us a week to build up for the event with a massive grandstand. The landing was around 60, 70 trucks of dirt coming in to build it. But once we have that set up, obviously the fans come in and enjoy, and these guys do their job.
And we do have a freestyle motocross star in South Africa in the likes of Dalen Goldman and the national motocross contenders, Jesse Wright and Julien obviously being here. What was the caliber of competition that you had with Julien there?
If you look at last year's event compared to this year, the guys really did step up the game, especially our motocross guys. Most of the guys whip one way, if you can call it that. Now they're doing both ways. So obviously for us it was super exciting. They were really close to these guys. Julien and Edgar were both up there for the win. I think Julien just got him at the end. And obviously Dalen, being one of our top freestyle riders, has been on the podium every single King of the Whip. So he represents the SA really well. All
right, I need to definitely break it down a little bit and explain what whip means. A maneuver, obviously performed on a motorcycle, usually during a motocross or freestyle, but it brings the rear of the motorbike abruptly around to either side. Julien, this sounds very dangerous, and it also leads me to my next question. How do you see who has the best whip? What technicalities do you use to measure that Julien was the winner yesterday?
different criteria. I don't know if you say that.
Different criteria.
Yeah, like the execution, the style, the direction of people. But you can see a bigger whip to another one when it's more upside down. So we go sideways.
Upside down on a bike?
And then to one point we're upside down. Yeah.
So you were upside down on a...
Yeah, almost. Not doing a backflip, but like we go sideways, and then on one point we're upside down and then back. So that's the biggest whip.
How many bones have you broken, Julien?
A lot.
and how big is the sport in the country? Because obviously you need to have a specialized bike.
Yeah, so I mean, motocross is fairly big. Freestyle motocross, unfortunately, not as big here.
Yeah.
That's why for us to bring the two sports together is beneficial for both sports. So, you know, the bikes are motocross bikes that the freestyle guys will customize to do their tricks and things on. But I think an event like King of the Whip, you know, at least brings it to the people. They get to understand what the sport's about.
Yes.
It helps progress the sport. So if you look at this year, we had a 13-year-old competing, which is the youngest ever.
A 13-year-old?
Yeah. So he was at the event last year and he just jumped as a showcase. This year he was actually entered and was throwing whips.
From the same ramp?
On the same ramp, on a small bike. It was insane.
And he didn't fall?
No.
I'm so nervous talking about it.
So you can see the progression over the years. You know, the event itself is growing. There's more riders riding it. We had 26 riders competing yesterday. There is discussions as well of some females riding next year, which will be awesome. So the progression is there, and that's why it's important for us to have this event in South Africa.
And are you seeing an interest in females? You're talking about the fact that next year there'll be a female motocross athletes. Will they be competing with your Juliens, or will they have a separate category?
So they'll most likely be competing with the guys, because realistically there'll probably only be one or two. There is Vicky Golden, a girl from America, who can compete with these guys. She's absolutely insane. There is discussions with her, so maybe we'll see her in South Africa one day. And then there's Kayla Roth, one of our national motocross champions, who wants to do it. So we'll start training her up, and she'll work with some of the local freestyle guys, and hopefully we'll see her next year. Now,
Julien, you are the King of the Whip 2023, freestyle motocross athlete. Who would you say is one of your biggest competitors in the world?
There are a few of them, Axel Hodges, Tyler Berryman, and Tom Parson. It's always like battle for the podium with those four guys. So.
And what sets you guys apart? What's different?
We have like different style also. We are good. It's very difficult. It's very tight between us. So every time it's a big competition for us.
All right. I know you're in South Africa for a very short while. You're leaving tomorrow. You were somewhere else in a couple of days ago. So when will you next be in South Africa so the fans can see some of these tricks, because that's what you do on these bikes? When will you be next year?
Hopefully next year in King of the Whip.
Yeah, he has to be back. He needs to defend the title.
So probably next year, yeah.
And overseas, once you leave, you are leaving tomorrow. What are the next competitions in terms of lined up for yourself that we can see online, perhaps?
Yeah, in 10 days, I'm going in Prague, then January, Germany, and then from then, like, USA and so on.
So would you never go back to just normal motocross?
No, not anymore.
That was a
Only
very... Why?
I'm just very busy doing that, so I don't have much time to spend on the motocross track. I rather like to train on ramps and foam pit and yeah. And
how has it been received, Ryan, before I let you go? The motocross family, motocross and freestyle motocross in the country?
You know, this event is just outshines all the other events around the country, and I think for that is something that we're super proud of. So it's just important for us to keep the progression there, keep the event there, make it bigger and better for both the riders and the spectators. So yeah, looking forward to 2024. All right, so let's leave it there. We look forward to 2024, Ryan. Hopefully Newzroom Afrika will be there to cover it, and we'll see you online as well as next year, Julien, the defending champion of the King of Whip 2023. That's all the sports I have for you for now. Kathy and Tembekile are back with your headlines at the top of the hour.